And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Reachin and Teachin podcast presented by CEI Esports. I'm your host, Robinson. I'm joined by my co-host, Johnny.
What's going on, guys?
Producer Joel is right across from us. We have another guest from the NBA 2K League. He's the head coach of Bucks Gaming.
Head coach of Bucks Gaming?
He is the head coach of
I
Bucks
know.
Gaming.
But like, you gotta say with some oomph, bro. Like,
The head coach of Bucks Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. We have Pat Glogovsky, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yo. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it a lot. You know, this lineup that you guys have and the people you interview it's an honor to be among them, so I appreciate it.
Always.
By the way, I don't want to do my actual head coach dirty. You guys had him on before. His name is.
Oh, the head coach. I said the head coach. The GM. I'm so sorry.
No. You're good. No, you're good. Well, I mean,
I just realized when you looked at me, I was like, okay. So let's run that back.
I'm sorry, Pat.
We have the GM of Bucks Gaming. Let's run that back. The GM of Bucks Gaming. We have Patrick Glogovsky, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yo, thanks.
Lance Radamas, I am so sorry. Robinson Perez here is just not on his A game today. It's unfortunate, but shout out to you.
My whole name like that.
Shout out to you, Rob. And get yourself together, man. Get together.
You're throwing off my money. So we're very sorry about that, Pat. We'll just go. All right, but let's get started. So. Let's get started before your time at the NBA 2K League. You managed the esports team down at Marquette, the school of Marquette. Tell us about the experience of being in esports and what's the vibe like in that area of the country, and what was your role and responsibilities over there?
Yeah, for sure. So, when I first went to Marquette, that was like near the peak of my interest in esports. I was just a freshman, obviously, and so I was looking to get involved in esports somehow, gaming in general. That's where most of my friends were from, and I knew that's what I kind of wanted to continue on in my college career. And they had a League of Legends club, but not like an overarching esports club. So my second semester of my freshman year, I decided to make Marquette Gaming and Esports, and kind of see what it turned into. And it not only was wildly successful, but it was just a huge passion of mine. The Midwest, we would describe as an esports desert, right? Like when you think of esports, you got to go to the coast. You got to go to the West Coast, the East Coast. Dallas, Texas has some good stuff. Chicago has some stuff, but it's mostly on the coast. And so it's a pretty bare bones scene, I would say, bare bones young scene there. So you kind of can make it, you can make it what you want it to be, right? So like Marquette I had a vision and we tried to execute it. And for the most part, we did. It was, we became the biggest student-run organization on campus by like threefold. We have like 150 active members. The next biggest was like 35 or 40 with the fraternity. So we had a great active fan base. Was able to meet a lot of really cool people in the Wisconsin esports space. Did a lot of cool networking, met a lot of great folks in that area. And my roles were just kind of whatever I made them to be. We wanted the vision was make it a social club, right? So it was like give these people a platform to hang out with people and game with their peers that have like-minded attitudes towards esports. And but beyond that, when it became so successful, we had to just make teams. I had no choice. There was just so many people that wanted to be on a team. I had no choice. So we started with just a couple teams. It was a League of Legends team and it was a Rocket League team, and then it ended up we ended up having 9 teams at my senior year. So it was like 2 League of Legends, 2 Overwatch, Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, Rocket League, 2 Smash teams. Like it was just all over the place. So I was managing all of those teams and rosters alike, and I wanted to basically give these competitive athletes an avenue to compete in their desired format. Not everybody not everybody has like the physical capability of being a basketball player, soccer player, football player, but these kids have the mental strength and mental desire to compete in their own right. So I just wanted to help them access that. So yeah, long story short, a social club turned gaming organization that became very successful for our time there. And it was my favorite part of my Marquette time.
So going from that and having that managerial experience at Marquette, how was your transition over to the NBA 2K? Like, how did you get into that scene? Obviously making the league, getting involved in the game itself. Because it sounds like I don't think you guys played a lot of NBA 2K at Marquette. So kind of tell us about how you got into that space and how was that transition for you?
Yeah, for sure. No, great question. So yeah, I mean, so the guy before me, Andrew Buck, love that guy. He was a great mentor to me, great advocate for esports in Wisconsin. He was a very, very big help for me in my journey in Wisconsin esports. I networked with him a ton, met him when the Bucks gaming team was announced, when like the 2K inaugural season was announced back in 2018, and was always kind of, just, and I wouldn't say in his ear, but I was always like connecting with him and always talking with him for the following 4 years, just like bouncing ideas off each other. He would try to get me to do some work with him, and I would help them with like tournament consulting and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, we always were talking with each other, and there were some ventures that we tried to get into with one another, and it never came to fruition. But that's my guy, and so he was the guy he was the GM of Bucks Gaming before I was, and so he departed and was on his way out this past fall, and I applied for a sales position, like an esports sponsorship sales position for Bucks Gaming. But it ended up that the guy that oversees that business venture just thought I was better suited for a managerial position, and he's right. I mean, like, I'm not suited for a sales position. So of the two, that definitely, according to my time at Marquette, I'm more suited for a managerial position. So that it just worked out like that. Andrew gave me his blessing, and it worked out from there. Like you said, 2K was not a thing at Marquette, but I love the nature of the 2K league in the way that it's very brazen, very abrasive, and very in your face, just like Call of Duty. And I love Call of Duty. So like it's very similar in that aspect. And I love the personalities and the storylines behind the scene. And it was just a natural, I love the Bucks and I love Milwaukee. And so like, I literally described it as my dream job. So I locked that down early on in my life, and it's been a dream come true. So I have nothing to complain about.
Wow, that's some way. I used to be a sales intern, knew nothing about it. So I don't know, just and I have no experience in sales. Like I couldn't tell you anything about sales, and I still can't. But anyways, so how did you get into? Let's reel this back. You said 2K wasn't a big at Marquette, but you were able to land the GM role. But how did you get into the NBA 2K franchise itself? It's just as a game.
Yeah. So. You mean like my interest in the game, or like my involvement in the game itself? Yeah, I mean, I used to play 2K back when I was young, but not like competitively. It was just a fun game to play with my friends. And then I've always sucked at it. Like, I'm trash at 2K and always will. At 2K.
Give us some credit.
I have no interest in getting better in that game. I'll be real. I am much more capable at my managerial part. So yeah. So, but I mean, the game itself, like I said, like I love the pro-am side of things, and obviously Pro-Am is like the least popular of the 2K modes. You could call it competitive modes. There's Park, My Team, all that good stuff. Pro-Am would be towards the bottom, but I just love a sport. Like the dynamic of a sports game that you can play 5 versus 5 is so unique, and you don't see it with any other. Like, you don't see it with Madden, with MLB, with FIFA. It's always 1 versus 1, right? So like this 5v5, and now there's a 3v3 format as well. The fact that this format exists is just so fascinating to me. And I love that, like, every player, I love like that you can specialize as a point guard or as a lock or as like a center. And like in real life, they kind of mimic that attitude, right? Like players that are 5'2" don't become center mains. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to be probably the shooting guard or the point guard. And like, likewise, like our center, like Plondo, he plays the center role in real life. So it's like, it's just cool how like your personality kind of mimics the role you play in game. And that's really unique to me. I really, really like that about the 2K game. I took the 2K scene and industry. And so, yeah, I guess that would be my answer as how I got into 2K. But truly speaking, like the way I leveraged my esports position or my esports knowledge into the 2K league was just like networking. It was literally just networking and my like ability to manage rosters and people and my interest in doing that, and being able to like kind of, I would say like innovate for the esports industry. I think that the Bucks goal right now is to make Bucks gaming, and this is my goal, as I should probably, me and the Bucks have similar goals in the way that our goals aligned are make Bucks gaming an esports org, not a 2K team. So like whatever that looks like in 3 to 4 years from now is really what we're trying to hone in on. And it's very exciting. It's a lot of things in the pipeline that we're really hoping that will come to fruition. And that's just kind of where things are lying right now.
I think that's a great point that you make about kind of having that distinction between just being a 2K League team and actually being an organization, right? And I think that comes down to the brand itself. So I think that's the next evolution for the 2K League itself, is that a lot of these different teams, that we work closely with the Brooklyn Nets gaming, we work closely with different teams. And I think overall the overarching like sentiment is that they want to make their teams a brand where it's, more, it's bigger than just the league itself. And I think for the players, that's huge, right? They get more recognition. They're able to kind of, do extensions of other opportunities potentially down the line. And I think overall that could really bring a lot more exposure to the league if, these teams end up becoming brands like you kind of want the Bucks to do.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Totally agree though. Yeah, it's all about branding, right? It's like personalities drive the league, stories drive the league. You know your team's brand more than you know your team's organization. Yep. So it's all about that sort of marketing level, and that's the challenge. Like I'm no business major, I'm no marketing major, so like to figure out that path is going to be a challenge, but something that'll be exciting to figure out for sure.
So speaking of challenges, so how has your experience been thus far as a GM? How would you describe that to our audience listening, kind of that role, your day-to-day operations as a GM in the NBA 2K League?
Yeah, sure. Challenge is a great way to, that's a, put it in one word, a challenge, that would be it, right? It's been a dream though. Like I've only been on since November, and so November is like very much ramping up pre-draft. So like there's a few cycles of the 2K League, and those within it and outside of it. And you would call November pre-draft. So like literally speaking, it's before the draft. So that around pre-draft is when, like November to February, you're really, really starting to focus in on scouting and like trying to craft this non-existent team that you have right now. And so what that looked like for us was we traded the former rookie of the year away to the Lakers for their fourth overall pick. We drafted the third in the lottery pick. So we had right away, as it stood, 3, 4, 14, and 24 was the best draft any team has ever had in the NBA 2K League. And so that put pressure on me a little bit to like kind of create this team that I knew was going to succeed. And but beyond that, like I could describe my experiences as like a GM versus the esports manager. So like my official title is esports manager as it pertains to the Milwaukee Bucks, but as it pertains to Bucks game, and you would call me the general manager just because I manage the roster. I make the hiring decisions. I manage the team, all that good stuff. So I'll leave the esports side, like the sponsorship and like business dev side. I'll leave that out for now because that's not as interesting. But like as a GM, it's been incredibly fun to like learn the industry. And like I made a business Twitter, like I made a 2K Twitter, and like getting to know all these community leaders. I went to Vegas to scout for a major pro-am tournament, and like it's been really, really neat to like get to know all these people. And like I instantly had a following as soon as I pressed create account, because like my bio said Bucks Gaming GM. So like people want to know who you are. People like want to be able to network with you and hope that you draft them. Like it's like a very, very privileged experience that I have, and I've never taken it for granted, because like I know every day like this is a job that tons of people would want to have, and as a result I need to take it very seriously, and I do. And it's very challenging, like you're changing 5 people's lives at the end of the day, and you're making these people work for you, but you work for them, right? Like you're the general manager, they're your boss, you're their boss, but you work for them. I try to make my guys' lives as easy as possible. So all they have to worry about is just getting better at 2K and getting better as a team. They don't have to worry about sponsorship. They don't have to worry about fulfillment. They don't have to worry about all these, apparel, I need to make their lives easy. So like, I want to make sure that my guys are good. My coach is good. We're all good before the season starts. And that's what pre-draft is all about. So that's been my experience thus far, for sure.
So talk about the guys that you drafted. You mentioned you had 3 of the top 15 picks. You were very busy. You had a very busy draft. Talk about who you guys. You had Cooks Iverson, you got Johnny Red, you got Dawsix, and then you were also take Cease also in the second round. Talk about what you saw in all those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we had, I think it was between first, second, and third round interviews. I think we capped it off at 50 interviews. And for a week I didn't eat lunch because I literally was 6 hours straight interviews. It was nuts. It was a great experience. Like I loved getting to get to know the community. But yeah, we had like I could point to my calendar. Like I had 6 hours, 4 days in a row of just straight interviews back to back. It was nuts. But it was, it was a privilege. Like that's a privilege to be able to like affect and meet those many people. Like I love that. And so what we wanted to do and what I wanted to do is, when you look at teams that are successful in the 2K League, you see a couple attributes. You see one, they're grinders, right? Like these kids are nerds. They grind the game super hard. They put hours in and they watch film. They do their due diligence. But you also see they're good kids. They're good people. They can communicate it very well. They don't get down easily. They don't get toxic to their teammates when the going gets tough. They're just good ass guys. I wanted to be able, and me personally speaking, I wanted to. My personality is I'm a communications major, right? Like I'm a communications major. I've managed several rosters. The ones that I prefer to work with are the ones that know how to work for each other and with each other. So like a group of selfless people that don't care about their stats, rather they care about the score at the end of the game. They want to make sure they scored more points than their team does. They don't give a shit how it happened. You know what I mean? Like, so I wanted to find 4 selfless guys that were skilled in their own right, but are also ready to drop whatever they're doing just to play for their teammates. And so when you look at Cooks, so I don't know if you guys were super aware of some of the stuff that happened in the league, but we were set to get the best point guard in the class at 3. But then one of the players dropped out of the pool, Green's hoodie tie. He dropped out. He was supposed to go number 1 or high, because the Mavericks didn't necessarily need a point. I mean, they did, but they weren't going to look for a point guard. They were considering many people. The Cavs already had a point guard, and then it was us 2 in a row. So we were going to get the best point guard and maybe the best lock or the best shooting guard. The Mavs traded it away to Genji. We knew we were going to get Gallo, and I really like Gallo. Gallo's a good kid. And then Cavs point guard got suspended. And so like, okay, we're like, Jesus Christ. So now 2 point guards are going, and now we're screwed. So like, and so when that Cavs news dropped, I got like 14 DMs saying like, yo, what's going to happen? Like, are you guys good? You guys screwed now? Like, I was like, nah, we're fine. So we made up the trade, a draft day trade to go to number 2, because Cooks would have been drafted by the Cavs if we hadn't. And Cooks is nuts. Like, Cooks is the best guard in the class. Like, that guy can score out of his mind. He can get a shooting guard involved. He's a combo guard. Like, he knows what to do, when to do it. And he can be a floor general as well, knows how to call plays, know how to get everybody involved. So we really like Cooks there. Selfless guy, has proven, he went from undrafted season 4 to 2nd overall season 5. So like, the dude grinds, right? Like he's out of his mind. And then Johnny Red, I think, is like a demon. Like, I mean, he's crazy on the sticks. Like, that kid can, like, he is so good. And like, he's a clown too. Like, so he can really get his team involved. High energy. Like, and man, I knew that beforehand. And like, when he came to Milwaukee, I was like, wow, this kid is hilarious. So like, really good kid, like 2 really good kids right off the bat, and both play the defensive side just as well they play offensive side. Very good communicators, very selfless, and just high energy guys. And then so we think, just kidding, I know I got the best point guard and the best shooting guard at 2 and 4. I just know I did. And then 14 with Dawsik. So Dawsik is so good. Like these, like, people say like Zay was the best lock, and Zay's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, Zay is amazing. But like, he just doesn't really fit the culture we were going for. Like, he's very reserved. Good kid, very good kid. Nothing bad to say about him. Just very quiet, very reserved, amazing on the sticks.
That's all.
What's that, Johnny?
It's not a perfect locker room fit for your team per se.
Exactly. Just a culture thing, right? So like, Zay went at 6 to the Mavs. And so the next lock taken was Dawsik, actually, I think, if I remember correctly, because there was just tons of guards being taken off the board, and then a power forward. So Dawsik was the second lock, but we think he's the best lock in the class. I think he's proven himself. I mean, he was a 6-man on the T-Wolves, to not playing at all, to being drafted first round. Like, he's the kid's out of his mind. So love him at lock. Great culture fit as well. Really good communicator. Timberwolves had nothing but good things to say about him. And then Cease was another great athlete that we scouted from the Lakers, because we watched him play, and he communicates out of his mind, right? Like, he's a great defensive leader, is always making sure the entire team knows what defensive rotation that we're going to run. And he's a lock now. Like, he's a lock for communication. Like, he's a great defensive mind, but also makes plays on offense. So like, if you look up and down this, this is kind of a long answer, but if you look 1 through 5, right, these are all guys. We're a prove it team, and we've been labeled that by the league. We're a prove it team, and I love that, because like, these are all guys looking to make their mark in the league, and looking and wondering how to do it, and like, what better way to just exceed expectations and become a playoff team from one roster, or one person in the roster, to 5 people. Like, we drafted 4 people. That's a crazy change in your team dynamic, like crazy culture change, roster change, 1 to 5. Like, we are a prove it team, and we're going to own that. And it's just it's a group of guys that are just going to grind from day one and prove themselves. So that's what we saw in those 5 guys.
And not only that, you got 5 guys. They don't have the luxury of the 6-man anymore. So that's you have to really like connect it. So what I noticed is, what you look for in your team, they have to have really great communication, be good at 2K and really good at 2K, and then be really just know how to communicate and have that culture set up and have that communication and know that there's no iron team. I really think that's I think that's a great way to look at it, especially when all you guys are, like I said, you guys are trying to prove it. And if you guys prove to each other and are on the same wavelength, a lot of things can happen. But not only are they trying to prove yourself, you're trying to prove yourself as the GM of the team, and then your new head coach. Yes,
this is the actual
head
coach.
Friend of the show, by the way. He was a former guest when he was on as assistant coach as Mavs Gaming. We have Lance Stradamus is the head coach of the team.
Shout out to Lance, man.
I remember guys went shopping, buying Bucks gear. You guys were courtside for the Bucks game last week. I saw that too. Seeing Giannis up front. Jealous. I did it once, but I was. But anyways, talk about what you liked in Lance Stradamus and what he brings to the team.
Yeah, Lance is a consummate professional. Like that man, I knew when I first got the job, and I made my Twitter and everything like that. A week later, I tweeted like, let me know, like, if you're looking for Bucks Gaming is looking to hire a head coach, like, let me know if you're interested, or like, send me your resume. I got like 50 inquiries, and like Lance was he was a clear standout. Like, obviously I'm new, right? Like, I'm new to the league, I'm new to the team, I'm new to the game. And so I needed somebody to carry me in the operation side of things. I think there's a lot of great professionals on the 2K league that are ready to join the league and that have been doing pro-am coaching or like amateur coaching for a long time. And they're great figures in the community, but that didn't really fit my dynamic duo that I needed to fulfill, because if I was more experienced, I could take that risk into somebody less experienced, but I'm less experienced. So I needed to have like a good partner to help me with this operation side of things. And Lance was that exact fit. He was immensely successful with the Mavs. I mean, the teams that he was given, the personalities that he was given, it wasn't an easy job for him to do, and he did it very well. And I mean, just yesterday we had our team, we had one-on-ones with our players, and he was just more than ready to go. And like, I love his vision for our team. I love his vision for his role. He is a wizard, and when it comes to statistics, he just knows exactly what he's doing. He was player development in college. Like his education is around coaching. And so like, I have nothing but amazing things to say about Lance. And I got great feedback from when he was hired. And, that really helped Bucks Gaming take a new, adopt a new look as well, right? Like, you have a new GM, you have a new coach, 4 great draft picks. Like, we're completely new. Like, we might as well be an expansion team. We're completely new. It's going to be we're all prove it guys, right? Like, you're right. Like, I'm here to prove something too, and then Lance is here to prove something too. Like, he deserved to be a head coach versus assistant coach. Like, it's just a group of people that are really looking to just put our heads down and just grind for 6 months and hope it comes to fruition.
And not only do you have to grind for 6 months, you're gonna have to be in a little hub. You have to be in Indianapolis. I can't say that name right.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
I can't. I'll just say that.
Oh, nah.
That area.
They say Indy, bro. Say Indy.
Say Indy. The place where the Colts and the Pacers play. That place. We talk about what's that like going into a hub. Obviously, it's not something that the NBA 2K League hasn't really done before. But what's going through your mind, and what have you told to your team about preparing for this season as well?
Yeah, so actually we opted out of Indy. So we're one of the 14 teams that are not going to be in Indianapolis this year, for a good reason, in my opinion. I mean, you could ask a lot of different people about Indy, and you're going to get a lot of different answers. But I love that the 2K League is doing that. They're really trying to mimic, more prominent style of esports. Like, all of your League of Legends teams are all based in Santa Monica, LA, stuff like that. So like, they play in-house all the time when, barring COVID. But so like, they're really trying to mimic like a more prominent esports industry landscape. And I love that for them. And like, I love that 10 teams are going to be opting in. It's just that like, the way the season works and the way contracts work, and like, it's a 6-month season, right? Like, I can't leave Milwaukee for 6 months, and like, neither of the other, like, these 14 teams, like, it's a really unique experience for like players to be drafted to the Miami Heat but play in Indianapolis. You know what I mean? So it's like when we were interviewing, a lot of players were concerned about that. Like, a lot of people would ask us, "Are you guys going to the bubble?" And we said no, and they said good. So like, we just there's a lot of regional pride around Milwaukee. I think people in Milwaukee and from Milwaukee, and the people that play for Milwaukee, are really proud of being a citizen of Milwaukee, just because it's a laborious, like, hardworking urban city, blue collar city. We get stuff done. Like, we're proud of our city, and the Bucks just won a championship. Like, we want to be here in Milwaukee, and we want to show people why we want to be here. And so we won't have that experience. I worry that there's going to be a lot of like gossiping, a lot of rumors, a lot of like unnecessary interaction between two, like multiple different teammates, like teams with different people. Like, I'm worrying that, like, you know, because they all live in the same place, right? So like it's going to be very very muddy when it comes to player interactions with other players and different teams. You know, we just weren't looking to.
You wanted to keep them tight knit, focused on the task at hand.
Exactly. We just want our guys to lock in for Milwaukee, lock in with their guys and their guys alone. So yeah, we're gonna stick it here in MKE, and we're happy to do so.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was an option for that. That's news to me. But that's something I don't know. That's something. That's a good way. I haven't looked at it like that. But a couple more questions, then we'll wrap up here. Give us like what's you have any predictions, anything as the Milwaukee Bucks gaming / Prove It team have for this upcoming year? You guys obviously have a whole new team.
Struggled last season, and this was a whole new start, fresh start. What do you expect from the Bucks gaming this upcoming season?
Or spoilers?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just kind of touch on the last season as well. I think it was just like, it was, you know, a few players that might have been complacent, a few that might have been upset with the establishment, whatever you want to say. There was this lack of structure, lack of format in our season last year, and I think that really took a detriment on our players. And it just didn't do it. I mean, we had the best draft for a reason, right? We were horrible. So
yep.
This year, it's a big turnaround year for us. Like you said, and like what I've been saying, it's a prove it team, and I love that. Like, there's pressure on us, maybe, but there's people that are more in the spotlight than we are. We're just kind of ready to prove ourselves. I don't want to say we're gonna win a banner or anything like that. I mean, the way bracket works for all these tournaments, because it's 6 tournaments in the finals. You know, the bottom 2 teams from each pool don't make it in the bracket. A prediction I can like confidently make is that I don't expect to miss bracket once. I expect to go to Indianapolis every single time to perform in those tournament brackets every single time. The 3v3 will be interesting and very fun to learn more about how that's going to work. But I've said it on the draft recap. I've said it on social media. You can catch Bucks game in the playoffs. You have my word. We're going to be a playoff team, and it's going to be. I mean, how far we go, we'll see. Quote me. Yeah, quote me. Chalk that up. Book it.
Chalk it up, folks.
You could lock it in.
You can lock that. It's on lock.
Oh my God.
Bucks gaming is going to be in playoffs. You know, I told you, like, we got a group that's ready to grind. They like each other. We play with each other, play for each other. Lance is a hell of a coach. It's Bucks gaming playoff season 5. You can see us there.
I genuinely believe like they're one of the more intriguing teams to see this.
Oh, absolutely. I think
it's not just like we're not saying this because you're on the call with us or anything like that. But when you reshape your whole team the way you've done it, it's something you got to be like, okay, what is this team capable of?
There's a lot of talent. Cooks, Johnny, CC, and Daw 6, obviously, and a lot of the guys. I think we love Lance, you know, obviously we have him on the show, so like I understand his personality. I think he'll really galvanize those guys to really make a good run at this. And so we'll definitely see you again in August when the playoffs are about to start. And
we got to get Lance Damas because he left us with a
cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger at the last episode. He's like, we never got to talk about where the name Lance Damas comes from, so we never were able to establish that. Last thing, have you gotten any tips or advice from anybody as we approach the start of the new season? And what has that been
for our listeners out there who potentially maybe want to be in a managerial position like you? What tips do you have for anyone out there to kind of pursue those type of aspirations?
Yeah, no doubt. As far as advice I've been given a lot of advice from other GMs, other coaches. It's the GMs. I love all the GMs. They're a great group of fellas. Like they're very admirable, very inspiring guys that just have made something from nothing. And so that great group of people that I really take a lot from. Advice I would give would just be network. Like for real, like I'm here because I networked, and like you got to get to know people. You got to understand how they got to their role, what their path was, and how you can mirror that. You know, like you got to. It's time to grind. You know, you can make it what you want it to be. Especially in the esports industry, it's an industry full of trailblazers. You know, no one knows what they're doing in this industry. We're all just making our way, right? Like we're all just like creating our own path, and you got to do nothing different. You know, like. Just network with people that you admire, network with people that have your position that you'd want to have, reach out, say, how did you get to that position? What was your steps? What were some of the things you did? Go to conferences, go to like seminars, network with people there, and just do your own thing. Like, I can't even tell you, there's like 5 GMs in the league that wrote for Dime or wrote for like shoot more threes, and like they're in the league now. Like they did like grassroots 2K stuff, and now they're getting paid a salary and have benefits because they did that stuff as a passion. You know what I mean? So it's like, create your harbor your passion and turn it into a profession. That's what I would say. I know that's pretty cliche, but there's so much that you can do around that area.
No, I believe it. Like, we obviously, Jad is our boss, and shout out to Jad, but he always tells us it's not about what you know, really, it's about who you know. And I think he does a great job for us, setting an example of how to network and really get in contact with these people. And that's how we're able to now have shows like this, where Robbie P over here himself has gotten in with a lot of great individuals within the space of esports, and as well as NBA 2K League. So that is, if anyone is listening to this right now, please take away from that. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And
create LinkedIn.
Of course, you cannot have a LinkedIn nowadays.
Get a LinkedIn.
Oh man, but is there anything that we missed or we didn't bring up that you want to bring up before we wrap this up?
Nah, I really do appreciate you guys. Like, I mean, I when I was speaking of networking, I met Jad because of networking, and I went out to New York for a year, and I met Jad networking, and he introduced me to you guys. Like, you guys have a great thing going. It's really sweet to see everything that you guys are doing. And like, when I was looking at the podcast and seeing all the guests, I was like, wow, I mean, to be among the guests you guys had is a real honor. So I do appreciate it for real. And ironically, like, it's been a pleasure, and no, nothing I would like to talk more about. It's all good.
We appreciate that, Pat. No, that's definitely fire. I mean, we put in a lot of work, and I'm glad that you've taken notice and really enjoyed the time we spent here, because I've enjoyed it. I know Rob has as well, and we hope to have you on again, Pat, for sure. Like, this was a good conversation, and we are definitely gonna be tuning in this season. This is season 5, baby. Season 5 is coming up.
Just know that if you and Lance Radamas join, you'll be part of an exclusive club. Some people have joined Black Frank White, JVM. We hope to have some other guests. Stay tuned. Be our best friends club of the podcast. You're a good friend. Now we want you to become the best friends, and we hope to make that happen.
Incentive to come back, Pat. Incentive.
Love it. You know it. You guys, anytime for sure, no doubt.
Awesome. All right, now last thing, Pat. Where can the people find you and everything going on with Bucks Gaming this year to see the proven team? Yeah,
for sure, guys. Yeah. So personally speaking, I'm only on Twitter. My Instagram is for my homies only. So I'm only on Twitter. Patrick Glow, Patrick Glow, GLOGG, Patrick Glow GG at Twitter. And then Bucks GG for everything. Bucks GG, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. I don't know what I said earlier, but find us there. It's gonna be a good season. We got a lot of good fun content in the pipeline. We're a heavy content team. We like to entertain our fans. So make sure you're following us everywhere.
Okay, I just followed right there. Just followed on Twitter.
So right.
No brag. Just followed on Twitter just now.
So do it
yourself, as I just followed on Twitter just now. So that'll do it for this edition of the Reachin and Teachin podcast presented by CEI Esports. We thank you so much, Pat, again for talking to us. We really enjoyed it. And stay tuned for more episodes. And NBA 2K League season 5 is coming to you.
Season 5, baby, we here. See you later, guys.
All right.